everybody. If you would please stand with me. And I'm going to ask Clerk Strite if he would start us off in prayer.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you we can join together this evening to discuss the business before the county. We ask your guidance and blessing on those making decisions, and we pray for your wisdom to shine through. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. And remain standing with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll call the meeting of the Hampshire County Commission to order Tuesday, August 26, 2025. And welcome everybody this evening. Thank you for coming. With the meeting called to order, we have minutes. The commissioners have those in digital form to review ahead of time, so I would entertain a motion to approve those or make any amendments that need to be made.
Move that we approve the minutes for the August 12th meeting of the Hampshire County Commission as presented.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second for the previous meeting minutes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Okay, we'll move on to the president's and commissioners' reports. I do not have anything to touch on this evening that we can't touch on during our normal discussions going through the agenda. I do, however, want to welcome back Commissioner Mance. He hasn't been with us in person for a while. He's been serving his time on active duty there, I believe, and we appreciate that and welcome him back to in-person commissioning.
Much appreciated, President Anglinger.
All right, and with that, I'll pass the floor to you for any reports you have, sir.
I believe I'll be able to keep it brief, President Anglinger, as a few items that I worked on over the last couple of weeks will be covered in the agenda. I met with Planning Commission related, the pending Saldo amendment that would potentially affect wind project development. I met with the team from Cape and Springs at their resort. Cape and Springs is a large employer in our area. Had a good conversation with their team and about the impact that potential regulation within the county would have on their business operation and their relationship with the wind project. I encouraged them to participate in the public process and and that the commission and the planning commission would endeavor at all costs to make sure, or at every effort to make sure, that they have every ability to voice their opinion and their position publicly, and I hope that they will do so. Also had a really good and productive set of meetings with the Development Authority team. I think we're going to touch on a little bit of that later, so I'm probably going to wrap up my report and that'll be it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Mance. Commissioner Brill?
I've attended several meetings since our previous meeting. We had a Farmland Protection Board meeting, Region 8 Public Development, Planning and Development meeting, as well as a Parks and Recreation meeting. All good meetings, a lot of good stuff going on in all those areas. Nothing major really to report, and the rest of the stuff that I have been working on is going to be covered in our discussion as it relates to the Morrow project and the potential appraisal of the Hampshire Center.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Brill. Clerk, do you have any housekeeping items you'd like for us to attend to?
A few things, yes. The first thing I have is the sheriff's settlement for year-end, June 30, 2025. It's to be reviewed and approved by you guys, and then it stays on my shelf. So it's nothing to sign, just a formality that needs to be addressed. Do that in.
there's no action. Clerk, do you usually want a motion for this?
Yes, please.
Even though we don't, okay. Yeah, gentlemen, if you're okay with the sheriff's report there, then we would entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion that we approve the sheriff's annual report as presented.
Second?
Okay, motion and a second for approval of the sheriff's annual report. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
We have exonerations. That's not nearly as thick as last week's, as you recall.
Okay, gentlemen, we have the exonerations from the assessor. Do I hear a motion we approve those as presented?
So moved?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And motion passed.
I'm gonna wait on exemptions a little bit.
Yeah, we'll wait on those.
Well, I'll just tell you one thing. The circuit clerk had sent us a request to have you consider an addition to her budget of $12,000 because in preparing the budget, she had overlooked a training line item in there. But as I reflect on it, we really need an official budget revision to do that because we have to determine where the funds will be taken from. So we'll bring that back on the 9th because I don't think she has any training coming up soon anyway. So just explain that. So anyway, next time.
Okay, I believe we have Mr. John Todd Hott with the amended MOU for the Board of Education property.
Yep, I do.
And I've got the original review. Brian, hoping that you will sign that this evening. I want you a copy too,
Thank you.
Eric.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then you get the original, assuming we sign it tonight.
Get that on the record then.
So, the primary purpose of this MOU, as you know, with the School Street property in Romney, the idea is to not demolish the annex building so that the sheriff's office and the day reporting center can occupy that building. And one of the things that it needs is a new roof. And so the county commission was not going to move forward with that until there was an ownership transfer from the Board of Education to the county commission. This document does that. It's been amended to that. One thing I did want to bring you up to speed is in the Development Authority's board meeting last week, 2 changes were made. That the Development Authority board did make a decision that they did wish to retain ownership of the building once all the demolition is done. So instead of the county commission maintaining ownership of the building, that our board would like to maintain the ownership of the building. And 2, in Article 7 of the document, you will see that we have asked for the Board of Education to provide us with an environmental assessment of the facility. We're not asking the Board of Education to remediate any of that. Our board members just simply want to know what contaminants, if any, are in that building. So those were the 2 major changes from the last MOU that you gentlemen have seen. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed on that.
Ball field.
Oh, and I should bring that up to speed, or bring that up because I know that doesn't really affect the Development Authority. It affects the Board of Education and the County Commission. With respects to the ball field, if you look behind Exhibit 2, there's a diagram of Cooper Field where it says plat of board property to be exchanged, and it's not a great picture, but basically there is a what's the word I'm looking for, Commissioner Mance? It's a
Reversion. So it's a cloud on title.
yeah, it's a clouded title. So the bottom line is what's going to happen is that the Board of Education is going to retain title to that property. They're simply going to lease it to the County Commission, and then the County Commission then in turn will simply lease it out to Parks and Rec as it were. If you look in the diagram, the little dotted lines that basically show where the infield of Cooper Field and right field, the surveyors are going to identify that as a separate tract of land and call it Tract 4 now. It will be its own separate tract, but it will still belong to the Board of Education. They will simply then lease it to you guys so that the Parks and Rec folks can still have access to and use it. And again, I'm not an attorney. I just pretend to be one. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. But this will, by signing this, Commissioner Eglinger, this will allow the County Commission to move forward. It does create the interest for the County Commission in that building to allow the roof repairs, or the bidding process to go on and move forward.
I'll just add too that at the Parks and Rec meeting last week, they were aware of this. I had made them aware of that prior to the meeting and during the meeting, and they were in agreement that they thought this would be best way moving forward to ensure they still had the ability to be able to plan and utilize that field for what it's been used for.
Good.
So, I know they're not necessarily a party to it in signing, but they're liked what they had heard. So.
If I may, I'm just aware there's still interest from the Board of Education to kind of effectuate the transfer of that property to the County Commission at a later time. It's just that those specific lots have a reversionary interest that's 100 years old, so it would make transferment at this time a little bit more difficult. So the easy button in order for us to move forward and allow the roof to go on the annex building is to just kind of cut that out of the transfer, set it up as a lease, and then deal with it later. So it might come back to us, it might be something that we still get to work through, but this will just allow the roof project to go on the annex building.
And you said, JT, that the Development Authority wishes to maintain the ownership of the building?
Correct. If for some reason, let's say 10 or 15 years from now, the sheriff's office or the day reporting center would eventually, let's just say they move out and they got their own facility, the building would become the Development Authorities to then lease to someone else, potentially sell to whoever may be owning or managing the property that's there that we are working on developing now.
And JT, if I might add, I am in support of the Development Authority retaining ownership for the additional reason of they are in the process, after the transfer goes through, they're going to have the remainder of the lot. They're going to be looking to develop that. If they have to work around specific rights of entry, it would essentially kind of encumber their process as to what that area could be. If they retain ownership, they can get through the development project, and if we decide to go a different direction later on down the line and transfer ownership back to the county commission, that'll still be an option later. But as they're working through the development project, it would be a lot better for their economy of movement as they're moving through it to retain ownership of that back lot as well.
Correct.
Yes, I would agree, gentlemen, that would be the way to do it. The reason I double-checked and made sure is because I know this project's been ongoing for some time, and I know when it started, the Development Authority didn't want the building. So that's why the county commission got put on the list for it to begin with.
We went back through that last week with our board. We went through the positives and the negatives, and they voted to keep the building. So Commissioner Mance was at that meeting.
Right.
He did not vote, but there was a unanimous vote to keep the building.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I know earlier on, before these gentlemen were here, it was pretty clear that they didn't want, but I think that is the best way to do it. That's the only questions I have, gentlemen. I thank you for the continued effort to get this done so we could move forward properly.
So President Eglinger, my recommendation here would be that, this will come in the form of a motion, is that we authorize the execution of this updated MOU, and then a separate authorization for you or your appointee to effectuate the transfer of the property. So authorizing somebody here today to actually sign the deed for the transfer of the annex building, because it's probably going to come up very soon. And if we handle it today, we won't need to wait around for another decision.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor, and would you like to repeat that, Commissioner, as to your motion concerning the MOU?
So let's do the first motion. I would move that we, as a county commission, adopt, approve, and sign the updated MOU as presented.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second on the amended MOU as stated by Commissioner Mance. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
And then I would follow that up with a motion to authorize President Eglinger to execute and approve the transfer, do all things necessary to approve the transfer of the annex building as referenced in the updated MOU.
Second.
Okay, and we have a motion and a second for the president to sign all the documents to follow. And again, in reference to Commissioner Mance's motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Commissioner Eglinger, all I need is for you to sign that document and then forward it on to Clerk Strite, and he will do what he does with it. And then Clerk, I will get a copy.
I'll give you back the original. It's your building.
Oh, thanks, sir. And if I may, Matthew Hott, Sir Matthew Hott, I should call him. He actually asked me today, if this goes through, he did ask me to mention or to remind you, gentlemen, I don't know where you are in the process of the roof repairs or where that's at, but was that already, and I'm speaking on for him, and I don't mean to.
I think that warrants a follow-up conversation with Darren Taylor. After this is done, all
Okay.
the groundwork will be in place to actually do, would be the equivalent of a closing in which the property is actually transferred over.
Okay.
That'll satisfy the Board of Education to where they're no longer worried about somebody working on their roof, because it'll be our roof. And then we can move forward with the project after that.
Okay.
So,
Well, let the record show that I asked the question. I want Matthew to get mad at me.
Well, if I could just suspect that Matthew just wanted clarification on going ahead and running an RFP.
the RFP, there shouldn't be any issue with it because I anticipate with this, we can probably move the closing forward pretty quickly.
Because I think he had already prepared one and had it ready, and we got kind of held up. So I'm guessing
So are you saying for me to let him know that it's okay to do that, or?
It seems to me like it would be reasonable to go ahead and move on that. There's no obligation.
I think a quick call to Darren Taylor too, and our grant writer, because I know that there was hinging deadlines there as well. So we probably just ought to make sure
Okay.
we're all on the same page before but that takes nothing more than 10
Well, I know
minute
that
phone
Darren,
call.
I know that I just want to, I wanted to let them know. I mean, I know we've been trying to get this moving. I've been trying to get this moving for Darren. I know he's been anxious to get moving and get into that building. So I thank you all tonight for.
This should be
moving.
everything less the closing, and then the closing will take care of the last step, and that can be scheduled now.
Yep. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all you and
Thanks,
your board
JT.
have done to get us here. Thank you.
Exemptions for the ambulance authority. No. HCSA.
I think they were all approvals to denials, gentlemen. That the HCSA does go out and check any questionable borderline ones, and they follow up on all the exemptions as far as what they're asking, and work with the assessor's office and the treasurer's office to make sure. But there is quite a bit of check and balance there on checking on those.
This is just a process question. Do we know if they get many appeals on those decisions, or do those immediately go to the magistrate court? Do we have an intermediate? Like if somebody wants to challenge the initial request, do we have something that we handle in-house, or do we go just to the magistrate?
Didn't we do one of those a couple years ago, clerk?
Yeah, there's been
Yeah.
occasions.
It's
Not
very,
many.
very far and in between, Commissioner, but we have, I think, done that once, about 2 years ago, or twice, maybe once or twice.
Thinking maybe Rockpile Road, someplace out in there.
Sometimes that can be like a cheaper alternative, and sometimes it'll satisfy the protesting party's desire to kind of be heard and heard out.
Okay, gentlemen, after review of those exemption requests, and again, I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. There was another page here. Yeah. 7 approvals and 2 denials after HCSA has done the research on those. So would I hear a motion that we approve that as presented to us?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
Mr. President, the next 2 items will be delayed until the September 23rd meeting. Look at my emails and review things, my error in scheduling. So those 2 items will not be before you this evening.
You say September 23rd,
Yeah.
clerk? Okay.
So since you have a little void of time here, I do have as unscheduled business, grant application presentation from Mr. Ronkin. It's for the Phase 2 of the Courthouse Facilities Improvement Grant request with a resolution and letter of support he wants to present.
Okay. Rolf, you get to go earlier than you expected.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Evening.
What I am presenting to you tonight is a work in progress. That is our second year, our second phase of the electrical upgrade to this building. We have made significant progress in the application process. I'm waiting basically on just 2 items, the equipment list and the budget, and I'm working with Metz Electric and Capital Electric. We had meetings the beginning of this week, and they're working on getting that information for me so we can finalize this application. However, tonight what I'm seeking is 2 signatures from the president, one for a resolution page, which is part of the application process. The resolution page authorizes you to seek reimbursement if we do get the grant. The other signature I'm looking for tonight is a letter of support that is in there from the county commission for this second phase. I have a already finished letter of support signed by Delegate Hillenbrand, who was kind enough to get it back to me in a few hours, and Senator Thorne has also promised me a letter I sent to him, and I should have that the next day or so. That will give us 3 letters of support, one from the county commission, one from a senator, state senator, and one from a delegate that covers Hampshire County. The other thing that I'm asking for, because although this is due at the 26th of September, the final deadline, we have an opportunity to get it in by the close of business on the 8th of September. CIFA will actually go through the packet as a courtesy. Since that is the same day that is our next meeting, what I would like from the commission is a motion and approval for when that packet is complete, that the president can sign it, so I don't have to wait until the 8th, because that will preclude me from being able to get it. It has to be down there. It can't be postmarked by the 9th.
Actually, our next meeting is the 9th, yes, not the 8th.
Ralph, do you mind talking us through scope and then who the project funder is and then what the funding structure looks like as far as match?
The match is 20%.
Okay.
So this year, the phase one, which was the heavy-duty portion of this, actually came in at 140, right around 143,000, I believe, and some change. SEFA is easy to work with. They are very quick to reimburse us, but it is a reimbursement. It is not a grant where we get the money, dump it in. So we have to basically spend the money, write a check, and then it gets reimbursed.
SEFA, is that a state body?
Yes, I'm sorry,
There-
Courthouse Facilities Improvement Agency.
Okay. And
That
this-
would be the A.
And this one, I don't think it's going to impact my decision one way or the other. Have you talked to them about future funding security?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually went down there on the 15th of July. They had training and talked with the executive director. She was very open that we are asking for 2 years in a row because this is second phase. But in their directions for writing this grant, Mr. Mance, they actually want to know if you have a multi-year, multi-phase project. So we wrote it last year as a multi-year, multi-phase. It came back very quickly, approved. No promises, because normally I get beat up and I don't win when I promise, but they're not saying that we won't get the money this year.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Only because I'm peripherally aware from other grant writing stuff. Some of the state funds that fund some of these programs, I'm not sure if this is actually the case, were tied up in all of the dodging that just happened. So we get to see a bunch of different state funds that were state-operated programs which relied on federal awards, which have essentially endangered those awards from last year going forward.
I have a little insight on this, if you don't
Okay.
mind. We send money every month to the state from part of our collections and our recording fees and so on that fund this particular grant.
Wonderful.
They are the ones that funded the cupola replacement,
Cool.
roof replacement,
Sweet.
the exterior work. We've had very good success working with them over a very long time.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, they're pretty stable.
She actually discussed that she was very optimistic that what was getting caught up in other grants
Isn't gonna
because of the
affect
way
this
the funding is coming in from 55 different counties, that she will see that same amount of money.
Cool.
Yeah, the legislature controls how those funding avenues are set, and that one has been nicely protected.
Sweet.
We have a nice book downstairs that they've published too, so.
I have a book for each one of you from her
I
office.
thought you should have brought it.
I'll make sure you guys get them. They're actually on all the courthouses for the state of West Virginia.
I want to thank you, Rolf, for following through on this. As folks know, we have a big old courthouse here, and it certainly would be hard for us to do some of the maintenance we've done recently without the help of grants. So I appreciate you digging into this the first time and trying for it a second time, because again, like I said, it's a big old building, and it's although it's very nice and historical, it's a chore to keep up with.
Yes.
And I want to thank Delegate Hillenbrand there. He's already got his support letter to us there this evening. So, and he's here with us. I just appreciate that. Thank you. All right, gentlemen, if you don't have any more comments or questions for our grant writer, would we entertain a motion to move forward with this or not?
So you need a motion for two different things, correct? If I'm looking at that, you need a motion to sign the letter of recommendation
Yes.
and then the
And
resolution,
a
right?
recommendation for signing the resolution. so the president can sign that. I also think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we also need a resolution for him to be able to sign it once that packet is complete. I'm not asking for signatures tonight because the packet is not complete. But what I would like to do, it needs to be signed by the president and by the clerk when it is complete. And if I have to wait till the 8th, the 9th.
We're done.
It will not allow me. So if I get the resolution tonight, once that packet is complete, I could get out and get you to sign that and the clerk and get it.
Typically, the wording on those resolutions is that by motion, the commission approved this specifically to the resolution, and then the application would be a separate thing.
Okay, so you want to attend to the support letter first?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we authorize President Eglinger to sign the support letter for the Phase 2 of the Hampshire County Courthouse project through the West Virginia Courthouse Facilities Improvement Authority.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of my signature on that approval, or that support letter, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed. Okay, then, gentlemen, we'll attend to the resolution, which would allow the clerk and I to sign for the grant application and the resolution as our grant writer, Mr. Ronkin, has asked prior to September 8th.
I move that we authorize President Eglinger and Clerk Strite to execute the resolution as presented upon completion of the packet.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion for the resolution, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
All right. Thank you.
I think my role is simply to attest to his signature. I don't think I'm.
But you don't have it, you're not ready for the signature yet.
Well, the resolution probably could be signed tonight because it's just for if we do get the grant, that would be for you actually reimbursement. But the way it was worded, I think it will also allow you to sign once the packet is complete.
I understand.
I think the resolution authorizes all that, if I remember right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep.
Thank you,
you.
Rolf.
Let me go ahead and test the signature.
Oh, yeah.
Certified above resolution.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph.
This proclamation. Sorry. Regarding Hampshire County recovery in September.
That's on down here, clerk. It's-
I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself there.
Okay. Well, we got it, gentlemen. We got it.
we can read it.
Oh, yeah, we got plenty of room.
Do you have anything else you want to put in before I go to our 7 o'clock?
The estates and the invoices are all I have left.
All right, we'll catch them here in a little bit. our 7 o'clock, and we are running a little ahead of schedule, but we do reserve the right to move things around. So I believe Commissioner Brill's been working in this effort, so I will pass the floor along to him on the discussion and on collaborative efforts amongst county leaders regarding transmission line projects.
Thank you, President Eglinger. Yeah, so since, well, probably the last month and a half, but certainly since our last meeting, have been doing quite a lot of legwork in reaching out to and having conversations and discussions with other county commissions as it relates to the Morrow project. As everyone knows, it's going to essentially transverse through Montague County, Preston County, Mineral County, Hampshire County, and Jefferson County. I did have conversations with several of the Mineral County commissioners, some of which took place even at the auditor's training, regarding their stance on this and their willingness to collaborate, and they seem like they would be happy to collaborate with us in any efforts they could. All 5 of the counties in the state have signed resolutions in opposition to this project, as well as some of the state representatives that represent those areas have also come out in opposition to this project. I've spoken with Commissioner Thomas from Preston County several times. Actually, I just spoke with him this afternoon before I got to the meeting, just to kind of touch base with him, see if he had had a chance to speak with any of the Montague commissioners, at which time he reported he had not spoken with any of them. But Preston County and Mineral County have been essentially, the Next Era has approached them and requested that they approve a path. They've provided them several different options, and they approve a potential path for this project. Preston County has declined to approve those. Mineral County did apparently approve one of those potential paths. And as far as I know, Jefferson County had not been approached by their entity, actually is Potomac Edison. It's going to be crossing that county. Spoke with Commissioner Keys from Jefferson County, and she had told me that their commission also is willing to collaborate in any way they can to kind of send a united front. So essentially my question to you gentlemen, and the discussion I hope to have, is kind of what we think would be the best plan moving forward for us as a commission. There seems to be, from everyone I've spoke to, the communities are in opposition to this. Preston County, I know, did send a direct letter to the governor regarding this project, stating their opposition, and Commissioner Thomas let me know that thus far they had not heard anything from him directly on his stance, with the exception of he wanted to wait until there was a more defined line or path, and then hear from constituents at that point in time. So just like to kind of see what you gentlemen think. It seems like there is an agreement amongst the counties to kind of get together and collaborate as best we can. Obviously, Delegate Hillenbrand, I appreciate you being here. I know you have also in opposition to this, and if you would like to add to any of this discussion, certainly be happy to hear what you have to say, and what maybe your suggestions would be, if you two gentlemen are okay with that.
Sure, I'm fine with that.
Want me to come up there? Or? Sure.
If now's the time you'd like to come up, Delegate, come on up.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to contribute, and I appreciate the work that you're doing, and the other commissioners and the other counties as well. I would offer, if you'd like, I can give you, actually, carry a hard copy of that letter that I sent off back in June as well. I could give you one of those. The only thing I would say to the residents of Hampshire County is that there are 134 legislators. There are a lot more citizens in the county. Our letters to the PSC and others, they don't really carry a whole lot more weight than any individual citizen. So I would encourage the citizens to take the time to write to the PSC and voice their opinion. I'm going to assume for the most part they're not in support of that, because I think overwhelming, and that's the word I'm choosing intentionally, the PSC with letters suggesting we oppose this would weigh heavily on the PSC in their decision-making process. And then the final thing I would say is don't copy-paste the same letter over and over again. Use AI or something to make it a little different so they don't all read the same. But, you know, continue to work together. And thank you for the opportunity. Did you have any other questions for me, sir?
Any other questions for the delegate while we got him here, gentlemen?
It's the main question that I would pose to you, Delegate Hillenbrand, would be, what is your understanding of the value of county action? I mean, we're all new to this, right? So it's not a county regulation, it's a state level regulation at the PSC. There are potential county actions that we could take that we're gonna work on deving out and exploring. But you know, aside from letters and positions, what do you think the best approach for a collaboration of county leadership to, what would that look like? I mean, we've got 2 county associations in the state. I think we were getting ready to talk about that momentarily, but from the legislative standpoint and viewpoint, what do you think would be the, you know, the biggest bang for our buck for our efforts at this level?
I appreciate the question. I think that because the county association is statewide and other counties may not have the same view on this as Hampshire and those on the northern stretch, if you would, across the state, I would probably lean toward continuing as Commissioner Brill had with regards to the affected counties, as opposed to those that may actually see a financial benefit to it. More coal off to coal-fired plants and all the rest of that could mean jobs in that regard. I don't know that they all feel that way. I do not have a whole lot of experience in dealing with these types of issues when a county or a significant portion of counties go to the PSC specifically with an opinion one way or the other on an issue with regards to how that will affect the PSC. I do have experience, and it was positive experience with regards to Piedmont when they were being suggested to build a 6-mile pipeline from Kaiser for their water. Went all the way through, the PSC held hearings over in Mineral County and all the rest of that, and I'll be honest, I went into that and figured this was kind of like Don Quixote, that the people were probably going to get a chance to speak and we weren't going to prevail, and I was pleasantly surprised. I found the commission was open to listening to the people, and in this case, a lot of PSDs were testifying as well, and in my opinion, I think they made the right decision, not only from the desires of the people, but also from an economic perspective for our state.
Do you think that there would be any appetite or possibility for somewhat of an organized legislative intervention or a cohort of legislators intervening in an official capacity as legislators?
I'm not sure. We do have an interim or special session, not sure which it'll be, coming up in September. It's certainly an opportunity where we can talk informally. And I would start there rather than, you know, go out immediately and take a position and then discover you've got greater opposition than support.
If you see an opportunity that would benefit from county leadership, especially combined county leadership, lending their voices to such a discussion, please keep us in mind.
Absolutely, and appreciate you all working together, because I do think there's strength in numbers, I really do.
Okay, thank you, Delegate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your work.
Thank you. Gentlemen, the only other thoughts that I had in relation to the work that Commissioner Brill's been doing is that it might behoove us at some point to actually schedule a meeting, even if we did it virtually, in which everybody could kind of get together and toss the different, you know, approaches that we're going to have to this around, and also give us an opportunity to make sure that we are kind of speaking with the same voice. If individual counties start kind of caving to routes, it's almost the same effect of individual landowners selling out along the route. It makes it an easier fight. And I'm not at all condemning any action that another county's taken, but I think that if we have, you know, counties that have expressed, you know, support for working in opposition to this project, a next natural step would be for us to organize a meeting of some kind. And then we'll figure out if, you know, all three of us are present. If that means that we have to make it an actually public meeting, then, you know, so be it. And then apart from that, I had a meeting with, in which, I forget which county he's actually representing. Dave Workman, he's the representative for the West Virginia Association of Counties for our region. And apparently there are regional groups within those county associations. And completely independent of Marl, he was just kind of talking about how the Eastern Panhandle has its own policy goals. And he was planning on reaching out to us as commissioners in and around October to help, you know, kind of break out what our legislative priorities would be for future advocacy. I think that that might be also a natural, you know, kind of add on to this conversation too. If there's already a regional association or a regional cohort within the Association of Counties that we might be able to leverage. Those are my only thoughts.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Brill. Did you have any other ideas there? Again, as you were speaking, I brought Delegate Hildenbrand up, but I wanted to make sure you got.
Sure. No, that's fine. I certainly appreciate what everyone had to say there and what they can contribute to this. So it sounds like Delegate Hillenbrand's said the so to speak, the most bang for our buck potentially could be the citizens speaking out and, you know, essentially speaking in a loud voice if they truly are in opposition to this. And so I think that we as county leaders potentially have are in position to be able to help them figure out how to orchestrate that maybe. And so I think getting together, potentially having a virtual meeting with any of the county leaders that are willing to participate, if we could get one from every county, that would be great. I would certainly be willing to be our representative, and if anyone else wanted to, or if any of the other counties wanted everyone there and we had to make it a public meeting, I'm not opposed to that. I don't know that we can do that virtually.
We'd have to work through it. We'd
Capability, but we could? Okay. So my question would be, I assume the process in reaching out to these other entities, do we want to send a formal request to them with a specific, you know, essentially what we would like to discuss, the collaboration efforts, what we were thinking, what we want to do. I know Jefferson County was the first county, I believe, to sign a letter of opposition, but in most of the folks I've talked to in the other counties, I'm not sure why this really is the case, but they seem to have leaned on us as being the ones that kind of started this process and kind of, you know, I think looking to us for some direction. And I'm certain that the other county commissions could certainly provide valuable insight, you know, so that we could all, like you said, kind of speak the same language, be on the same page. And again, ensure we're sending the right message for our constituents. So, Clerk, if there is, or President Engler, if you guys have a recommendation as to how the best way would be to go about orchestrating this, I'm happy to help in any way that I can.
Well, I think we could send, whether it's formal or informal, but a letter of invitation for a collaborative effort meeting. And again, since you volunteered to head that up, you know, if you wanted to work with the clerk to present us something, and then Commissioner Mance and I can look at it, and then we can most likely move forward.
Absolutely. Happy to do that. I'll get that to you as quickly as I can.
I'd further recommend, I mean, we all get those Waco and Association of County emails too, where everybody's still responding in the chain. I think we can neck down the email chain or the distribution chain to those folks that you've already talked to that have expressed interest, and then kind of encourage them to participate in the chain. It can almost be like a virtual coordination place as well. So,
very good. Thank you.
Okay, then we will leave that as a consensus and an action item that Commissioner Brill will continue on with the collaborative effort for a somewhat regional meeting there amongst commissioners. Okay. The Again, we're running slightly ahead of schedules, but we will move on to our 7:15 item, which is the creation of cross-county cost reduction committee. And at this time, I'll pass the floor to Commissioner Mance. I believe you had requested that item be added to the agenda there this past week.
I have. Thank you, President Anglinger. Gentlemen, this thought was born out of our monthly reports that we receive, and essentially what we have is, you know, what each cost is in that it's been presented to the county as an invoice. It's a lot of data, and it's kind of hard to look at and abstract out what all of the data means. I ran a couple reports, I think, back about 3 or 4 months ago, and I apologize for not bringing more information to you today, but really I can talk about it in abstract. There are programs that we can use to analyze our expenses, and especially since our reports actually compile invoices from across every department within the county. What I think we can do is come up with a deliberate process of looking at where we are spending kind of money on the same thing from different departments within the county, and look for those opportunities to either combine contracts or bring a service in-house to actually reduce cost for the county as a whole. I think that we've got enough individual departments to where that is a possibility, and I think that a natural first step would be for us to build a committee that is kind of dedicated to examining that and looking at it. You know, our responsibility to the public is to, you know, shepherd the public dollar and manage resources appropriately. We've also run into situations in the last couple of years where, you know, prudent, you know, financial planning is essential. I think it's also just kind of a good time for us to look at it. What I would kind of ask for today is, you know, a discussion on the value of this, and then talking about what a committee could look like, and if so, the creation of such a committee, and then tasking them with looking at our expenses across the county and making recommendations. I also think that this is particularly well timed with President Eglinger's recommendation that we start up county leadership meetings, which I think you had the last, you said we did them a few years back, and then I saw an email chain this year in which a lot of the county leads kind of agreed to maybe sometime later this fall. I think that that could time out well with this effort too, so that if we do end up coming up with recommendations for consolidation of contracts, we would have the ability to talk to how those recommendations would affect each shop within the county and get their feedback as well. I think that's a good kickoff point, and then happy to kind of discuss what I had in mind, but I think if we start the committee, that would be the working body for this effort.
If I could speak up a second. I had an interesting coincidence happen on Friday after the agenda was posted. I got a phone call from our vendor who does our budgetary program and several other programs. Very excited, and Bethany and I sat down and watched what he proposed to be about a half-hour demonstration of his new product, and that ran on for about an hour and 15 minutes or so. The upshot is that a lot of new tools coming that will be very useful to fit right into this very thing. So it all works very well together, and I think he said that'll be rolling out within a month for us. Cool. So yeah, very cool.
Mr. Brill?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that, with that additional information, the timing sounds even better. I mean, if there's new technology available, things that can help us kind of streamline it. I mean, personally speaking, as someone who is still relatively new to this, I know Commissioner Mance is new as well, it is a lot to look at. The information is a lot to look through. And so anything we could do to work together, certainly I think would help all of us. You know, anyone that leads organizations or any type of business understands that it's really difficult to do everything yourself, right? You got to have a good team of folks that can help you through some of these things. And I would be in agreement that if there's something way we could put a committee together that could help us streamline some of that stuff. Again, if we could save money and then again be able to relay that information to the community to help them understand what our thought process is from a standpoint of when we need to spend funds, what we need to look at. I think it could be beneficial to us, certainly, and I'd be happy to help with that in any way that I can. I have to be careful of volunteering for too much stuff because I'll get put on everything. But
Okay, so I just, a couple of things. I think this is a good idea. You know, we're coming into an era of technology with programming and AI and such that it can analyze this stuff quickly, stuff that takes us hours to look through and see. And from that regard, I think this is a really good idea, and I think it's something we could move forward with and perhaps find some cost-cutting measures that would be agreeable across the board and make our budgeting a lot easier. I do want to say, and again, gentlemen, no disrespect on time of being here, but I'll say, you know, I don't want this to be taken the wrong way as our county needs. And anybody can always look at their budget and try to do better. That's not what I'm saying here, but I think being here 8 years, we are in a county that definitely does not overspend. And I just, again, I think this is a great idea, but I want the public to understand some of the things this county does. And an example that comes to mind is, and me and Commissioner Brill were just at the statewide auditors conference, and almost all the counties, the commissioners have a administrator. That's a $40,000 to $80,000 job across the counties. A lot of counties smaller than us have one. We've never had one. We just, you call and you get Brian, Logan, and Eric is a clerk that does a lot of commissioner secretarial work that he wouldn't have to do.
And I send a lot
So,
of people to you.
you know, I don't want the public to take it wrong that we need a lot of budgetary crackdown, because that's one example. I'll give another example. You can look at this room. I've been to other commissioner meetings. They got a $10,000 table and leather chairs. Their ceiling doesn't need fixed. And that's okay with me, because we like to give historically our money back to our Parks and Rec, our development authorities, our planning. You know, we'd like to give our money back to the citizens and not worry so much about that kind of stuff. That's another example. And then a third example is, many times, and the clerk can attest, at the end of the year, our different departments bring money back to the budget. And that gives us that surplus that we often need to fill in throughout the year, where we've had to replace air conditioners, roofs, rugs, you name it. So I'm very proud of our history of being a conservative budgeted commission, and but in the same token, there's always room for improvement. And again, as Commissioner Mance has brought to our attention, you know, there's programs and stuff now that can just zip right through this stuff and catch things that we don't catch. So I just wanted to say those couple things, because sometimes we have these meetings and people are watching and they get on Facebook and, you know, put the wrong idea out there. So yes, a good idea to continue our efforts in being a conservative budgeted commission. I think, again, along with the idea of department head meetings, we could coincide with that, Commissioner Mance, and you know, obviously budgetary stuff, you need the treasurer and the clerk, because the clerk writes the checks, the treasurers accept them. So, you know, that would be a start. And if you would want to lead up the budgetary portion of that, and I will continue to work with those quarterly meetings that we had suggested for starting this fall, we can go from there. But I would
be happy to, and I'll gladly accept, recommendations for who else would be a good fit. I'll be honest with you, and he'd probably be mad at me for bringing it up. Chief Hamrick jumped out to me, just in looking at kind of his approach to money management and kind of what he was able to do early on with HCSA budget. And I think some of that comes from his experience as a fleet manager at a larger organization as well. I think that kind of, I wanted to invite him to participate if you guys would be all right with that, and if he doesn't shoot me down for being too busy, but also to the degree that anybody else that you guys can think of would be a good fit for, trying to help us come up with, ideas that might not jump out. I'd be glad to hear them.
Okay, so for starters, with that budget subcommittee, we'll call it, I would, we will, tonight, at least assign yourself, the sheriff as treasurer, and the clerk, and then anyone else that you feel
Sounds great.
that you would like to add. But I would suggest, again, yourself, the clerk, the treasurer, and you can talk to Chief Hamrick and any other subcommittee members we think would be appropriate there.
Much appreciated.
Anything else on that, gentlemen? Okay, clerk, do you have anything? You said just the estates?
No, nothing short. Your next.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to the proclamation and recognizing September as the National Recovery Month. Extella Garber, Director, Hampshire County Pathways. Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Sir?
This is Jamie Race. He works within our organization as a PRSS. He's a great advocate for the recovery community.
Welcome.
All right.
Good to have you here.
I'm super glad to be here.
Could you pull the mic over to you?
I'd rather not. Okay, yeah. Better?
Yes.
We doing good? Okay. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be here on behalf of West Virginia CORE, an organization dedicated to supporting individuals and families impacted by substance use disorder in our community. More importantly, I come to you as a person in long-term recovery, a person that found their recovery in Hampshire County. I understand and respect that there have been concerns regarding the West Virginia Goes Purple initiative, particularly the perception that it may highlight or promote a single nonprofit organization. While I cannot speak on behalf of other groups, I do want to stress the heart of this initiative. It is not about one organization. It is about uniting communities across West Virginia to raise awareness, reduce stigma, and show support for individuals in recovery. As you know, substance use disorder continues to affect our county in very real ways. Families are hurting, lives are being lost, and stigma still prevents many from seeking the help that they need. By taking part in initiatives such as West Virginia Goes Purple or any similar public show of support, our county has an opportunity to stand together, to say recovery is possible and our community will support it. We believe that supporting Recovery Month in our county is not simply a symbolic gesture. It is a way to change the narrative of what recovery truly means. Too often, the public conversation around substance use is framed only by the most painful outcomes: homelessness, criminal activity, disease, and death. While these are real challenges, they do not tell the full story. By recognizing and celebrating recovery, we can shift the focus from devastation to the possibility of restoration, hope, healing, and community support. We can show our neighbors, friends, and family that recovery is not only possible, but happening every day right here in our county. This positive narrative strengthens our community, reduces stigma, and creates a culture where people feel safe to ask for help and then proud to share their journey of healing. On behalf of the Hampshire County recovery community, I would like to respectfully ask that the Commission reconsider its current position on the West Virginia Goes Purple proclamation. Supporting this initiative would demonstrate to our community that recovery is not something to be hidden or ashamed of, but something to be encouraged and celebrated. If the Commission feels that it cannot support the West Virginia Goes Purple initiative directly, I would like to propose an alternative, that our county issue its own proclamation recognizing September as National Recovery Month. Such a proclamation would affirm that the county supports individuals and families affected by substance use disorder. This would encourage the display of purple decorations, promote community events, and highlight hope and healing. This would allow us as a community to move forward together, focusing not on the name of any one organization, but on all lives being changed every day through recovery. I thank you for your time and consideration. And then you have the proclamation.
Okay, thank you. How many of you had an opportunity to read that over? And if so, I would take comments or questions for this young lady at this time.
Stella, thank you for coming. And for everybody that's here representing the recovery community, welcome. Be welcome here, and thank you for all of your efforts. We are here with you. You guys got it, all right? To everybody in the community, you guys have this, all right? You guys got it. We had a good conversation last week, I believe, about, kind of our not necessarily preference for the West Virginia Goes Purple, as it doesn't necessarily operate in Hampshire County, but that I understood the sentiment in the community to be completely in support of local recovery efforts and everything that you do and all the work that you do in the recovery community here as a whole. So thank you for that. I'll kick the conversation back over, but I just really wanted to open it up by saying, be welcome. Thank you for your efforts, and we're here with you.
Yeah, I really appreciate how easy you made it for us to be here. That was wonderful.
Great.
Yeah, I'll just echo those same sentiments. Thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do for the community. I appreciate you taking the time to put together what you had to say there in this proclamation as well. So as Commissioner Mann stated again, hope you understand that we're certainly here to support any way that we can, and so we appreciate you. Appreciate all that you guys do for the community.
Thank you.
I would mention you guys are already host, as it were, of an event on the 31st, which Hampshire County will be purple that night. Tammy Kirk has an awareness event, candlelight vigil here, so that's already established. She's done it for 3 years, and since the commission has approved it every year, I went ahead and approved it when she first contacted me. But it had no reference to the other organization, so I figured it'd be okay. So.
Okay, and with the proclamation in consideration this evening, gentlemen, would you want me to read that aloud for the public?
Sure.
Okay. Hampshire County Commission proclamation recognizing September as Recovery Month. Whereas substance use disorder is a serious public health issue that impacts individuals, families, and communities across Hampshire County, West Virginia, and the nation. And whereas recovery is possible, and with access to treatment, support, and understanding, individuals living with substance use disorder can and do go on to live healthy, fulfilling, and productive lives. And whereas stigma and misunderstanding remain significant barriers that prevent people from seeking the help they need and deserve. And whereas National Recovery Month is observed every September across the United States to increase awareness and understanding of substance use and to celebrate the people who recover. And whereas by recognizing Recovery Month, Hampshire County affirms its commitment to support individuals and families affected by substance use disorder and to promoting community-wide activities that highlight recovery, hope, and healing. And whereas decorating our community in purple and participating in local events during Recovery Month serves as a visible reminder that Hampshire County stands united in support of recovery. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hampshire County Commission hereby proclaims September as Recovery Month in Hampshire County, West Virginia, and encourages all citizens to support this observance by engaging in community events, displaying purple decorations, and promoting a culture of understanding, hope, and recovery. And if we so move to do this, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Hampshire County to be affixed this 26th day of August, 2025.
I would move that we adopt the proclamation as read by President Eglinger.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second for the proclamation recognizing September as Recovery Month in Hampshire County. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you all for coming.
Also, awesome work
Thank
for
you.
everything that's not this right now and everything else that you guys do. Keep rocking.
Yeah, thank you. We're glad to be here, glad to be doing what we do.
Thank you all.
You guys have a great evening.
You too.
It was a long read.
At least there was all the words I could say. There you go.
Get tongue twisted.
Sometimes there's a word in there.
Hampshire County was purple before purple was cool, but he didn't get the purple handout.
What? Yeah, once you said the full name of the song, I was like, yeah, all right.
I remember that.
I remember it on the classic station.
All right, next on the agenda, we have consider engaging Keys Valuation for appraisal for Hampshire Healthcare Facility. And I know Commissioner Brill has made several phone calls and emails regarding that, so let us know what you got there, Commissioner.
I printed off her emails and the validations that she presented, certifications and so on, so whatever you need, I've got.
Thank you, President Eglinger. So yeah, and as we have previously discussed, we had agreed to seek out a commercial appraiser to appraise the Hampshire Center to give us an idea of what the value would be on that facility since we have an entity interested in purchasing it. I had reached out to at least one local appraiser who is not doing commercial appraisals anymore, and from there I got pushed down the line to about 5 or 6 other appraisers that would maybe be familiar with this type of work. Apparently appraising a retirement or facility such as this is not the norm, and so finally eventually I did get in touch with Miss Kara Keys, who coincidentally is also a county commissioner in Jefferson County. And so we had a conversation. One question I did pose to her, obviously, is if she can do this type of information, to which she had told me she has already spoken with the Ethics Commission on this, and that she is able to do appraisals for other counties as long as it does not impacting her county directly. And so we should be okay with that. So Commissioner Mance had prepared an RFP previously. If we found someone interested, I was able to get that over to her, and rather quickly she got that back to us completed and presented, and I think she emailed that to all of us, or I followed it or forwarded it to you. No, she did send it to all of us, I believe, for your review. She essentially was in agreement to all the terms, can turn the appraisal around in 30 days. At a cost of $5,800 to us. Based on my conversations with other appraisers and my familiarity with commercial appraisals, I feel like that amount is reasonable. Her references and what she's done in the past seem to me to be in line with what we're asking her to perform, and I feel like based on the conversations I've had from her and her presentation to us, I think she would be a good candidate to perform this appraisal for us.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Brill, for that work on that. I know and I noted back a couple months ago that we might have trouble finding somebody to do what we're asking, but you were able to finally dig up some information there, and I appreciate that continued effort. I think the amount is under the formal bid process, and we certainly have plenty of evidence that there's not a lot of folks that are willing to do what we need done. So, I would be in agreement with the price and the company that will do that for us. I don't see any reason why we would need to research farther at this point, and I to believe that it's, with our current situation of the nursing home facility there, that it's something that needs to be done.
Thank you for your work on this. I think this is money well spent for, one, for what we owe the public in doing our due diligence if we're going to consider this transaction. So we need to make the most informed decision possible. I think that the value in the product that we're going to get out of this appraisal specifically is actually probably a good value based on everything I've seen for commercial appraisals. And thank you for putting in the work to line it up.
Okay, with that, gentlemen, I'd entertain a motion that we allow Commissioner Brill and the clerk to continue work with the Keys Evaluation Company in setting up a contract to do that appraisal.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed. That gets us down through all our agenda items. Before we get into our last two housekeeping, I would open the floor at this time for any public comment. And our public is down to 2 delegates. And I'll note that our Delegate Cannon walked in here a little bit ago. I'd already introduced Delegate Hillenbrand, but know both of these gentlemen, and I'm glad to see them here. I know not all commissions get blessed with as much delegate and senator visits as we do. So thank you guys for that. So with no public comment, clerk, any other housekeeping items you have for us, we'll attend to now.
Yeah, we have several states for consideration, so. So I'll circulate this. We have a list,
That is a pile.
and then these are the paperwork.
Are they waivers or full settlements?
We can circulate them around. Yeah, that big stack is mostly waivers of settlement. It's showing that the state's been through the process and been reviewed by all those needed to.
The communication on the solemn form wills, did that come via?
It was an email.
Mr. Judy?
He told me that he would need it on the 23rd,
Okay.
and I misread it, so
All right.
better to have it on than not, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
might-
I was wondering why I hadn't gotten any literature from him, but that.
yeah, we might hit him up and make sure that he's got the attestation of the service of process too.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
That way we don't have to ask for it.
We didn't last time, but I think it's,
Yeah.
yes, I will. Yeah, that just,
Summers. Okay. All right, gentlemen, I actually have represented and still do technically represent one of the estates, so I'm going to have to recuse myself from the vote, just because they're all together.
Since me sitting there holding you up.
I'm good, because if you guys are gonna vote on mass, if we separated it out, I'd be fine, but.
June, July, and August must be estate months.
Well, they did kind of accumulate. We didn't have a regular meeting in July, so. Probate office is steady busy,
Unfortunately.
yes, for several reasons.
stack. I'll make a motion that we approve the probate orders, fiduciary appointments, and qualifications, and all fiduciary bonds before us since our last meeting.
I'll second the motion. And Commissioner Mance has said he'll abstain due to he has involvement in one of the estates. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. This one right here. And we're down to invoices, I think. Did you stop by and look? I saw you were going.
Yeah, I haven't been up here when she's.
I did. We probably should have thrown it on the agenda, but
Yeah.
Hope to get up here before, maybe before the next meeting.
do you sit on the building commission? Which one of you gentlemen sit on?
I do.
Okay.
Haven't had a meeting that I'm aware of, at least no one's alerted me to it.
I also just didn't know, like, where that interaction would be too. You know what I mean? Just don't want to, like, encroach on something somebody else's task. But maybe before the next meeting, yeah, we can everybody get eyes on it.
We'll research it, guys, and put it on the agenda for next time.
Sounds good.
All right. So with the time that we have and the camera's still running, the Planning Commission survey for the comprehensive plan update is live on our HampshireWV.com. And I believe it's been pushed out on a lot of the county Facebook pages as well, so.
All right, thank you, Aaron, for bringing that to our attention. Any questions or concerns about the invoices, gentlemen? If not, I'd entertain a motion that we approve those since our last meeting.
So moved?
Second?
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying